Hello, and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Fuel community. My name is Wack. Today is June 10th, and today's episode is going to cover a whole bunch of news about Houston. So we're going to be talking about the Houston upgrade with the article, software releases regarding Houston. We're also going to be talking about some Ethereum news, about zkSync airdrop that's happening, and also some sad developer news coming out of Ethereum. So let's get started.
10, 9, ignition sequence start, 6.
Okay, we're going to start here with this post from Dave. And Dave, for those of you who don't know, is the founder of Rocket Pool. And he says, strap in everyone. We're just a week away from Rocket Pool's third upgrade, Houston, going live. This release has been on the roadmap since day one, and we'll finally see a first of its kind on-chain protocol DAO come online to govern the protocol with the help of its most important users, its node operators. To help go over this Houston release, we've got this article which also features some early info on our next release, Saturn. Huge thanks to the team and community for helping bring this epic release to mainnet. Let the countdown begin. Rocket Pool. So let's have a look at the release and what it says. So this is a Medium article for the Houston launch, and it's a 10-minute read. So Dave starts by saying, here's Houston's coming on June 17th. Everything's looking good so far. He says we're going to take a stroll down memory lane and then talk about the significant upgrade. And after that, we're going to talk about Saturn and how things will be changing. So to talk about the protocol DAO, how it came about, how they needed people to vote with, something on the line with vested interest in the protocols running. So they chose node operators to do that. And they chose snapshot system, which is, off chain. It's not, it's centralized. So those were some of the things going into the Houston upgrade. So with the Houston upgrade, like what kind of things will be able to go? Will the PDAO be able to do in the new voting system? So, the voting will be moving on chain. We've talked about this a bunch on Rocket Fuel, but what will be happening is, people will be voting still through maybe the snapshot front end, but they'll be voting. You'll have to do an Ethereum transaction in order to vote. You'll have to pay gas, and then it'll still be the same node operators who have voting power. So right now, the PDAO will be able to gain settings over things like treasury funds. They'll be able to change program parameters, and then there'll also be a security council as well with proposals and voting. So any node with non-zero voting power can raise a proposal at any time. When doing so, they must lock a proposal bond in the form of RPL for the entire proposal process. Then there's a challenging period, a voting period. You can vote abstain, for, against, or veto. And once both voting periods have passed and the proposal is successful, the proposal can be executed and the change applied to the Rocket protocol. After the proposal has passed the voting period, the proposer may unlock the RPL bond unless the proposal was defeated by challenge or vetoed. Okay, then there's other major features as well, and these are to do with how staking is set up. So they said that we'll have stake ETH on behalf of a node. That means that whitelisted addresses will be able to set up validators on a specified node, and also there will be an RPL withdrawal address. So you will be able to have two separate withdrawal addresses for a node. So the ETH goes to one address, RPL goes to another address, and it says with this new addition, you can set a withdrawal address for your ETH and a new one for your RPL if you wish. The RPL withdrawal address, if set, will be able to trigger and claim RPL from inflation rewards and will have no impact on ETH consensus rewards or anything related to ETH. So then this ties into ETH layer 2 scaling, which is like scaling for Rocket Pool, and this will help things like node sets constellation and helping it grow. So there's a bunch of shout outs, so all of that stuff. Actually, let me just change it so you guys can see a little bit more. And then there's information about documentation, what's going on with audits. There were 3 audits this time: Consensus Diligence, Sigma Prime, and ChainSafe. And then there's tease of the Saturn upgrade. It says after Houston will be Saturn, the draft Rocket Pool improvement proposals. outline a feature that scale the protocol, enable ETH-only node staking, significantly boosts capital efficiency, dramatically reduces gas costs, increases node operator participation, and introduces innovative RPL tokenomics. There's a whole lot going there. We talked about this last week and the weeks before quite a lot. Mega pools will be the change in the contract that will allow for sublinear bonding, and then there's tokenomic stuff as well. Here Dave says you get 6 quintillion points for making it this far. That was a whopper of an update, and you made it through. If you have questions, feedback, bug reports, or anything else you want to talk about, you can go to the team website. Follow us on Farcaster. So this is new. There's a Farcaster account with Rocket Pool Labs, so you can follow that if you want. If you see that, and there was the Medium article was also posted there. So that's going to be interesting to see if the team starts using that Farcaster account. This is for updates, so if you have a chat in the Discord, anyone can join, and then it tells you a little bit about what Rocket Pool is. So this was actually a really nice update. I'll be writing a summary of this to put on Reddit probably tomorrow or Tuesday, and I'll put it on Twitter as well, so you all can like and retweet that pool. And then in the Rocket Pool community, people started talking about the upgrade and the actual Rocket Pool Labs. So yeah, it looks like there's going to be a Farcaster account, a Wildcast account for Rocket Pool, and it'll be interesting to see where that goes. And then here, non-fungible Yoakum quotes the 6 quintillion points, and he says, "Damn, these things could be worth anything someday." Yeah, so people were complaining about their Dave points getting inflated away because he's issuing too many tokens. So yeah, but that's the Houston upgrade, so everyone's really excited about that. So of course, to get the Houston upgrade up and running properly, you need software updates, and this one is Smart Node release version 1.13.3. This is a maintenance release with bug fixes, client updates, and minor new features. So you should be on 1.13.0 as a minimum, because that's the one that has the contract specification for the Houston upgrade. But with the newer ones, you'll just get better clients and stuff. So here with this one, it has Geth updated to 1.14.5, Lodestar updated to 1.19.0, Nimbus updated to 24.5.1, Reth updated to 0.2.0 beta 9, and then there's some smart node changes as well with Reth archive mode. There's a fix for migrate from network ID to chain ID, fix sanitize proposal messages, fix user gas choice when executing multiple transactions, fix logic to check primary fallback status, and fix JSON marshalling, and remove unnecessary contract addresses. And then to install it, you follow the guide. And we found out a little while later that there was a problem. So Langus here said an issue has been reported in the latest Smart Node release version 1.13.3. The issue relates to fix logic to check primary fallback status. It says if you have fallback with the above release, some command line interface commands will stop it working. It says if you have a fallback and haven't installed the above release, please skip this release. If you have a fallback and have installed the above release, uncheck use fallback client in the Rocket Pool settings, click review and review settings and save, and hit yes to restart services. It says apologies for the issue. We will update ASAP Rocket Pool. So I presume that there should be a fix for that on Monday night Eastern time, which is Tuesday morning European time, or maybe even 24 hours after that. So European morning Wednesday and Tuesday night. Yeah, something like that. But I'll let you all know when the update is out. So we'll be looking for 1.13.4 next. Okay, another thing that happened is that the bootstrap mode was changed and inflation allocation was changed as well. So for those of you who know, this is in line with the RPIT that passed last year, which was the ODAO and PDAO charters. And the ODAO during that process voted for a 90% pay cut in their income. Well, that has now finally completed. It took a year to do that, but you can see here that the ODAO's allocation of inflation is down to 1.5%, and the PDAO's inflation has been changed to 28.5%. So this is actually really wonderful to see that it's happened. Like, it's not often that you see participants in the protocol or ecosystem vote to give themselves a 90% pay cut, and that is what the ODA members here did. So that's really great to see that that's what happened. I know it took a year for it to take effect, but now that is fully taken effect. The 28.5% that is left, that will be going partly to the IMC. They'll be getting more than they were getting a year ago. The GMC, who will also be, I think, getting a little bit more than we were a year ago. And then the rest will go to the PDAO's rainy day fund. So that's really cool. So yeah, this is awesome news. And yeah, you can actually see who got, or that was the payments going out for the IMC stuff. But yeah, this is really awesome. Okay, so as you know, we just had an election for finishing the IMC's election, new member selection, and this is the one for a brand new slate of IMC members. So the vote finished overnight, and you can see here Jasper came in with 1,100 votes, Val got 1,000 votes, Pateris got 946 votes, I got 914 votes, Non-Fungible Yoakum got 869 votes, Halululo got 782 votes, Samus got 734 votes, Phil got 591 votes, Dr. Worm got 586 votes. So that makes up the 9 for the slate. And then Astanita, Dukey, and Lee got votes as well, but sadly they were not enough to get onto the board. So onto the committee. So this has been absolutely wonderful that this selection has gone so well. And I really love that, you know, the people who got selected, everyone who was nominated even, I think would have done a wonderful job on the IMC. So it's really, really wonderful to see that this group of people have been selected, myself included. So thank you everyone who voted for me. I really appreciate it. I'll come back to this page in a second, actually, before I go back to the Rocket Pool Discord, because Pateris noted something. Not sorry, Patricio noted something, and he said 140 accounts voted here and only 14 minted the PWAP. What's going on? So there was a PWAP, there was the IMC, I voted PWAP, and now we have had 53 people have claimed the PWAP, which is much more respectable. But I think what happened is the PWAP wasn't available with the start of the vote, so people didn't know there was a PWAP to get. But now people have gone back and minted the PWAP. So for those of you who don't know, right here under the vote section, there's the PWAP, and it says, you just press mint PWAP, and it will go to the address that voted for this. So that's really cool, Patricio. Thanks for bringing that to our attention. Okay, next we got a new RPIT. So Halululo was the one to share it with the Rocket Pool community in Discord. It says, "Wake up, babe! New RPIT just dropped." So for those of you who don't know, RPIT is Rocket Pool investment thesis, and it's actually become a little bit of a joke in the community that, you know, the old investment theses, none of them really worked out. The people who wrote the theses aren't really in the community anymore. But this one is a new one from Grey Sky. So Grey Sky, I'll just go through the summary and you guys can read the rest of it yourselves. But he says, if ETH staked in Rocket Pool reaches the same levels of Lido, expected price of RPL will be $290. If the ETH staked in Rocket Pool stays the same as it is now, price of RPL will be $12. These are the equilibrium prices on the order of a year or so. Speculation will affect the short-term price. The current price of RPL is $20. This is analysis of fundamentals suggests the equilibrium price of RPL is directly proportional to the total value locked in the RETH according to the formula blah blah blah. This is my analysis for RPL is based on new tokenomics outlined here, looking for someone to spot holes in methodology. So they basically go along and kind of explain what it'll be like to run a validator under new systems and how value is going to be accrued and how that's going to impact the price of RPL. So there was a whole bunch of people here talking about like giving feedback, things like, last time I bought RPL, after reading one of those posts, I lost 50% of its value in ETH. These ridiculous price targets are sounding scammy. And then another person said, worth noting that Rocket Pool will never reach the same level of stake the ETH as Lido does currently because the node operators voted in favor of self-limiting at 22%. However, one thing to note is, even though our stake goes up, we can reach 22%, but the total amount of staking right now as it stands could double up to 60%, for example. And if that was to happen, or 50%, I guess, somewhere around there, 50-60%. If that was to happen, then that would be a much bigger share of stake, which would imply a higher price for RPL. Of course, as you all know, this is not financial advice or trading advice or anything like that. Please interact with these analyses / projections at your own risk. I'm not telling you to buy any tokens, so please keep that in mind. Okay, next we got this update from Owlbear. It says, hey, all the testnet for Vrun is live on Haleshki. Anyone who is willing, please try and make a validator. I would post a Discord link if I could, but here is the site, stakevrun.com. There are improvements in the pipeline, but this is a working, minimal, viable product. Man, that looks like a spam message. So let me tell you first of all what Vrun is. So for those of you who know, All Nodes is a service where you go there and you deposit your ETH and your RPL, and they stake that on your behalf, and they take a monthly fee. Now, that stake node, All Nodes actually is one of the biggest node operators in all of Ethereum. They have Lido validators there, Rocket Pool validators through there, and a whole bunch of other services run their stake through All Nodes. Now, the Rocket Pool community, about 20% of the community basically uses All Nodes for its validators. That number might be have gone down or up a little bit, but somewhere in that range. And the community really wanted there to be a rival to All Nodes to take away some of its share, ideally from the Rocket Pool community itself. So the GMC approved set up a bounty. There's a bounty set up for this service to be made, and then 2 of those are being funded. One of those is Vrun, and it looks like this is the one that is furthest along. Owlbear is doing, Looking for Owls is doing a lot of the management side of things, the admin side of things, and a lot of the development is being done by Ramana. So that's really cool. It's a community built and run project. So if you are interested in doing testnet for that, check out their website, and then there's a Discord as well. So if you click on the link in the description for Owlbear's post, then you can scroll down a little bit and Val will invite you to that server. Now, I would have showed you the server, but I've had problems connecting into that. For some reason, I can't get past their capture. So yeah, I guess I'm a robot. But anyway, if you have any questions, reach out to Ramana, reach out to Looking for Owls. But it looks like that's going to be a really cool project that's launching in the Rocket Pool community. Okay, next we're going to be talking about the GMC. So those of you who know, like over the weekend, we finished the most recent GMC round, which was round 13, and round 14 now is already open. So if you are interested in submitting a grant application, a bounty, or also a retrospective award, then check out the website for the GMC. The link is in the description, and you can submit whatever you want in there for GMC to go and find it. But yeah, you'll have until July 7th for this round, at which point we will start the next round. And if you are interested in round 13, the community has been discussing a lot of the applications that came in. It's actually here with Terrace, who gave his feedback on what he thinks we should and shouldn't be funding as GMC. Then Val was there as well. And after Val, we had Paladin, who gave some feedback. And then also Non-Fungible Yoakum gave some feedback as well. And Wooden Chip. So we had like a nice amount of feedback that came in. And the GMC takes all this feedback very seriously. We really do use it in our internal discussions when we're trying to figure out who we should and shouldn't award and how much money we should give them. So if you're taking the time out to provide some feedback for the previous round's submissions, then seriously, like, huge kudos to you, huge respect to you. It's really wonderful that you're doing that. Okay, let's go back to the Discord now, and we got some interesting news from Jasper this weekend. So Jasper shared a screenshot of a notification that he got on Twitter, and this was from a new follow, and his new follow was Joseph Lubin. And for those of you who don't know, Joe Lubin is one of the co-founders of Ethereum. He also is also the founder of Consensus, and Consensus, for those of you who don't know, are the team that run MetaMask, Infura. They're a Rocket Pool ODAO member. They have an auditing arm through Consensus Diligence. They've got a whole lot going on. So it was very interesting that Joe Lubin followed Jasper here. Now, if you watch the weekly orbit from last week, you'll see that Jasper, Pat, and myself were kind of speculating about what a world might look like in which Consensus staked some of their ETH rocket pool. And I thought it was quite fortunate timing here that Joe Lubin followed Jasper. So that's definitely something really interesting. But yeah, I'll let you go watch the weekly orbit to see the kind of stuff that we talked about. But it was definitely interesting. Okay, moving on to some staking news now. And we got this podcast released from Epicenter podcast. And this one is called Ethereum Staking Wars. So the little blurb to it is TWTTR. I'm not going to say what Twitter chats with Superface and Nick Sorakish about Ethereum staking landscape and what challenges it faces that might threaten the network's decentralization and security. While there are multiple proposals being discussed to address this risk of staking centralization, from issuance reduction to a certain breakpoint, like 30% of total ETH being staked, to introduce more severe slashing for colluding entities, education and guidance remain paramount. So ETH Stake is a community-led project whose goal is to guide, educate and support and offer resources for stakers in order to lower the barrier of entry for solo stakers. Just don't forget to retweet and follow Epicenter BTC, that's their account name. And then this is the podcast. I haven't actually had time to listen to it yet, but I heard people have said really cool things about this particular episode. And Fizz and Nixo, of course, are two of my faves. I've both had them on Launchpad talking about Ethereum staking and other things like that. But the topics that were covered in this show were Fizz's and Nixo's backgrounds, Ethereum staking evolution, staking options, liquid staking, centralization risks, incentivizing solo staking, lowering ETH issuance proposals and network security, solo stakers, how a healthy staking ecosystem looks like, the importance of client diversity, social political collusion, and miscellany. So it's an hour and 1 minute long episode. And like I said, these are like with some of my favorite people in crypto. So definitely go and check that out if you are interested. Okay, next we've got some sad news out of Ethereum. So we're moving on to Ethereum news now because Anthony Sassano was not covering Daily Gwei today. So I thought I'd cover some of that stuff. But Luke Tshang put a personal tweet out a few days ago saying some tough personal news after shutting down the privacy protocol we built for Nocturne. Sebastian and I decided to wind down the company and step away from crypto for a while. Winter reflection, share thoughts below. This is from June 5th, where they said that they were working in crypto for over 3 years and they tried to work with privacy, but it says the regulatory situation worsened and we shut down. So Nocturne's protocol that I heard about either earlier this year or maybe end of last year, where they were trying to get like a privacy layer built on top of Ethereum. I think it was going to be a privacy layer 2, but I'm not exactly sure. Anyway, here we have Amin Kad, who gave some like a take on this, saying the company behind Ethereum privacy protocol Nocturne shutting down undoubtedly because of the unprecedented assault on software and privacy rights in the US over the last 2 years, which has included, and then the sanctions for code through Tornado Cash and Roman Storm getting charged with money laundering. Says you can thank the Democratic administration, the appointees in the US Treasury and the Department of Justice for that, as they kowtow to a movement headed by petty tyrants like Elizabeth Warren, who gloated about creating an anti-crypto army. So I'm not going to get into the politics of it, but basically this is the reality of what's happening for crypto in the US now, where these projects that we're building in the US that were going to bring jobs and tax revenue into the US are now shutting down or moving abroad, and this is really sad. Like Nocturne specifically, privacy tools are really great, but it looks like anyone building any kind of privacy tools has been chilled, scared into stopping. I remember Aztec, another privacy solution, was kind of changing and pivoting a tiny bit to remove some aspects of this operation from their roadmap. I'm not sure exactly where we stand with that right now, but these are the kind of things that are happening in the wake of the Tornado Cash sanctions, and it's really horrible. Okay, slightly better news. So for some of you here, we got a post here introducing the ZK Nation. So the ZK Nation will be zkSync's community DAO, I guess. You know, their their attempt at decentralizing. And they've said that, you know, this is ZK Nation. We're powered by, you know, a shared purpose to govern. So it'll be very much like, you know, the OP DAO and the Arbitrum DAO. So the standard procedure is like, you know, you get a token and then you can delegate that to people, or you can delegate it to yourself, and then you vote, and then you vote, and then you get maybe some more tokens like OP tokens holders did, or you vote for things that people think you should not be voting on, like the Arbitrum game promotion, like focusing on GameFi. Well, now it's zkSync's turn. So normally what happens is, you know, a token is very, very close to being released when you start getting posts like this, you know, promoting their DAO. So that's the main thing that I want to talk about. And then there is some information about that here. So with power and numbers in the final section of the post, the blog post, it says more details will be unveiled this week about the zkSync protocol allocation process, zkSync's protocol token allocation, and how you can actively contribute to the evolution of zkSync. In the coming weeks, expect further information on ZK Nation's governance structure. Whether you're a developer, innovator, or simply an advocate of freedom, there's a place for you in this community. And one of the key things to pay attention to is that Bankless are doing a live stream with people from the ZK team. So here it is. It's going to be going at 11 a.m. on Tuesday morning Eastern time. So if you are interested in listening to what the airdrop is going to look like, that's where we're going to be getting it. Normally what happens is, you know, the airdrop checking page will go live just as the live stream will start. So we'll be getting information on the zkSync airdrop tomorrow and what that's going to look like. I know a whole lot of people in these communities our communities have been farming this airdrop. Like I've been farming it for a year and a half, I think, maybe even 2 years, because I started on zkSync Classic or whatever it was before, the older version, before they moved to zkSync era. Lite, now zkSync Lite, I started farming that. So I've been farming for a long time, so hopefully I get some decent amount of tokens, but I guess I'll let you all know tomorrow how I did with that. Okay, moving on from zkSync, here we've got some information from Brother Pi, and this is another 7.5% push to break the weekly user base all-time high. Weekly addresses on Ethereum are now 6.5 million addresses per week. That's 3.5 times more than Ethereum mainnet. This is absolutely wonderful to see that, you know, layer 2s are growing dramatically. This is absolutely amazing that we're almost at an all-time high compared to a couple of months ago. It's all looking really, really great. So congratulations to all the layer 2 teams. With zkSync token launching, it is likely that they'll do some kind of token incentives, and those are really good at getting users to use those platforms as well, with like liquidity incentives and app rewards to users who use them. I think there's going to be a lot of stuff going on there. So hopefully we'll be hitting new all-time highs very soon on that. We got an update from CowSwap. CowSwap, for those of you who know, is my favorite DEX, and we just moved on to Arbitrum on layer 2 for Ethereum, and now we are getting an update on TWAPs. So for those of you who don't know, a TWAP is a time-weighted average price, I think, order. So it used to be that you could only do it with $5,000 on mainnet. However, now on layer 2s, they're changing that so you can TWAP with as little as $1,000 per pot. So the way that the TWAP works is you can set buys or sells at certain time intervals. You can also do limit orders within CowSwap. So you can set your orders at certain buy or sell, or you can buy or sell at certain prices. So there's some really cool like technology being worked into CowSwap, but now it's made it even easier for people to basically DCA, dollar cost average, into your favorite crypto. So for example, if you have $1,000 on Arbitrum in USDC, you can go to CowSwap and you can tell them that you want to buy $100 of ETH or $10 of ETH even every day for the next 100 days, for example, if you're buying $10. And the impact of that will be, you know, you're paying sub-cent fees on layer 2, and you're getting an average price of ETH over the course of 100 days, which is actually really cool. And then there's CapSwap telling you that, why you should be twapping and the benefits of twapping. So it's really cool now. It says, thanks to Denkun, gas has become affordable, so lower minimums are in order. So that's what they've done. Okay, next on to some general news now. And here we have some news that Coingecko have had their email provider data breached, and 23,000 phishing emails were sent. It says the email platform security breach occurred due to compromised employee account. So if you have interacted with Coingecko in the past and made an account with them, it is likely that you've had your email details stolen, and you can expect a whole range of targeted phishing attempts coming your way. I'm not sure what other information has been breached as well, but I'm letting you all know so you can practice diligence and try to be careful in the coming days, forever, I guess, actually, because there might be the case that your email has been compromised and people will be like reaching out to you and trying to scam you, basically. In today's episode, we're going to finish with this question that Lee had. So Lee was trying to understand the tokenomics, the new tokenomics for Rocket Pool. He says, so I just want to make sure I fully understand the tokenomics. And then he asks a couple of questions. Val replies by giving the answer, and Lee's really happy about that answer. So he says, thanks, Val. And then that starts a whole thread of everyone just thanking Val. So Lee says, thanks, Val. Jasper says, thanks, Val. Nixo says, thanks, Val. Nocturne says, thanks, Val. Genome says, thanks, Val. Ramana says, thanks, Val. Patera says, thanks, Val. Charles says, thanks, Val. Ethmeister says, thanks, Val. Vaka, Never an Island, hello too. And then Exiplex breaks the chain, so shame on them. But they got 8 ban emojis for that. But this is actually really cool that people took a second to thank Val, because Val does a whole lot in the Rocket Pool community to be thanked for. So I'm going to finish today's episode by saying thanks, Val. Anyway, I hope you all had a lovely weekend, and I hope you all have a great week ahead. Let's spend some of that zkSync money buying some RPL, not investment advice, of course. But anyway, I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.